Wow, does this car fly? Hi, this electric luxury SUV I have here is absolutely fantastic, fabulous and phenomenal. Of course, no car is perfect. It has some flaws. Let me show you what I mean. So, let's get started. The BMW iX, BMW's first full luxury electric vehicle. This car is absolutely phenomenal. There are just so many things to like about the BMW iX. So let's get into all the neat and gritty things and all the bells and whistles of the BMW iX as we drive. Alright, starting from a driving standpoint, the iX is a really impressive car. I mean, yes, apart from the controversial design, which of course has grown on me, I've begun to like BMW's their new design language. The way they design the headlights, it's not your traditional BMW. Their design approach is actually good. It's beginning to grow on me. The iX is a phenomenal car due to some things which I really appreciate about this car. What it does as a luxury electric vehicle, it is not as stereotypical as your Tesla Model X. It has been designed at an intersection of luxury, power and range. So talking about range, this iX40 I have here is good to go for about 424 kilometers of driving range. That is really incredible for a car of this size. Apart from BMW being good at designing cars to be driver focused, you might for one think that the iX is going to be a luxury, heavy electric vehicle. But this car is very impressive when it comes to driving. As a matter of fact, this car weighs about 4,000 pounds. But then the way the BMW iX drives it carries its weight very well. Like, you won't notice how heavy this vehicle is because of the steering wheel. For example, the steering wheel is so sharp and accurate, very precise. I mean, it drives smaller than it is. As a matter of fact, the BMW drives smaller than it is because of how responsive the steering wheel is. From a driving standpoint, I would love to talk about how comfortable the seats of this BMW are. This iX is luxury centric. That means everything about it is luxury focused. Apart from the Mercedes-Benz EQE, yes, that drives more of a sports car. The air suspension just irons out road imperfections just so seamlessly. I love the new shape of this steering wheel. It's kind of like a hexagonal steering wheel, which is good. I mean, the driver's information display is not obscured by the steering wheel. The BMW is quiet. I mean, not just electric car quiet, it is luxury quiet. You don't even hear the road noise. I mean, the only thing I can hear from this BMW while driving is like the cars whizzing by. But then road noise, there's no road noise at all, no tire noise at all. It's so quiet. In fact, of course, electric cars, when you drive electric cars, you get to hear the whining of the electric motors. But even in this iX, you don't even seem to hear the whining of the electric motors. It's so quiet, smooth and sophisticated inside the iX. I was really excited for this iX. And talking about excitement, shout out to Bentville BMW of Hampstead for the BMW iX. And then if you like the iX, subscribe to this channel and like this video. It helps me get incredible cars like this one. It's very easy to use the BMW in town. You might think that for a big car like this, it's going to be like a hassle driving it in town, but for a matter of fact, the BMW is just so easy to drive in town. So of course, the touchscreen is very easy to use and it's very nice. One thing about this touchscreen is it has been built in with augmented reality display. So when you put in a destination, the BMW would actually augment the direction for you to turn while you are driving the BMW. That is one of like the greatest features to have in an electric car like this. I would love having that feature. I mean, at this price point, of course, this full spec version I have here is spec up to $100,000. That is a lot of money. Okay, so being an electric car, it has the regenerative braking mode, which is B mode in this BMW. On the gear shifter here, you push it all the way back into B mode, and then you put the BMW in regenerative driving. So when you take your foot off the gas normal, the BMW would slow you down to a complete stop. And then there are two modes of this driving mode. You have adaptive mode. This adaptive mode actually uses like AI to adapt to the way you drive. So sometimes the regenerative braking would slow down when it notices that you are getting close to a car. It would slow itself down. Speaking about driving assistance and adaptive driving assistance, this BMW is also equipped with the lane keep assist and the radar controls, which is good. It makes driving this BMW so easy. It can slow you down in traffic, speed up with traffic, keep you in lane, and the controls for that is on the left side of the steering wheel here. You can set in your distance, the mode, and then to put it on, you just double tap the set button here. And when that comes on, you get a sign on the heads-up display. There's just so much information. Even on the heads-up display here, it can see the car in front of you. So it will slow down, it will make the adjustments on the steering, which is actually good. Still on the subject of driving modes, this BMW also has some different driving modes like sports and all that driving modes. You can configure that with the drive mode select button here, which is very easy to use. Of course, it's so easy to get to that mode here. You press in the mode button and then it brings out a screen, and then you can see your different drive mode settings. You have personal, sport, efficiency, expressive, and relaxed. I love the driver's information display here. Formerly, BMW's driver's information display were not all that configurable, were not all that great, but this one is a good step up. Like, I love the huge bump in the driver's information display. Of course, when you switch between the different driving modes, the driver's information display would change to suit that driving mode, which I really appreciate having that feature. That's great work from BMW. A huge part to this BMW iX, controversially, is the way it looks. So let's have a chit chat. All right, starting with the front of the iX, this is where the most controversial piece of design is, which is the front grille here, or this design element here in front of the iX. Of course, it's an electric car, so it doesn't need a front grille. But then there are many things in the front of this panel. But then I want to talk about a flaw or flaws that I've started to notice with German electric luxury car makers, which is of course the front of this BMW iX. So it's an electric car and you'd expect there to be a front trunk, like of course other electric cars like the Kia EV6, the Tesla Model S. I mean, even with the size of this BMW iX, it doesn't have a front trunk. I don't know why the German luxury electric car makers do not put front trunks in their electric cars. Say for example, the Mercedes-Benz EQE, which I just reviewed, it doesn't have a front trunk. To me, I want electric cars to have front trunks where you can just toss in one or two things, and it makes it really practical actually. Okay, so that aside, I like the aggressive nature and the way the hood has been sculpted in the front of this BMW. These headlights are really sleek. I love the headlight. The option I have here is spec'd with BMW laser lights, which is really good and bright at night. You have some air ducts here for making the car aerodynamic. In fact, as a matter of fact, this BMW iX, for those of you who it concerns, is really, really aerodynamic. 0.25 CD. There's something really peculiar about this front grille. This panel here, it's not really like a metallic surface. It's kind of like a polyurethane surface, and the advantage to this surface is it's actually a self-healing surface. That means when you get scratches and you leave the BMW for 24 hours at room temperature, or you pour hot water, that scratch would actually heal. It's a self-healing material. That is just so brilliant. And then behind this panel is BMW's driving radars and sensors, which it used to see the world around you. And then still on this surface here, it actually has a heating element. So in winter, when this surface gets frozen, it can actually get frozen because of course the driving systems are up here in front. There's actually a heating element which actually heats up this surface to melt it. This opening here is actually electrically operated. So when the batteries and the electric motors get hot, this panel here would open to cool them. I mentioned that the front of this BMW is not openable. So where to fill in the water of the wiper washer fluid is in this surface here. You pop it and it opens, and then you pour in the wiper washer fluid just in this place. Now, talking about fluids, there's something really nice about the cameras of this BMW. This camera up here is exposed. So you think, when this camera gets dirty, what happens? There's actually an electric camera washer here, which you activate in the screen inside, and then it washes this camera here, which I'll show you. Just watch this.
The best part of the design of this BMW iX is absolutely the rear of this BMW iX. I mean, just take a look at it. The back of this car is just so muscular and athletic. Every design piece here just is so on point. Like, it's really on point in the back of this BMW. One thing about this BMW iX is the black color actually goes well with everything. It just gives it that futuristic yet under the radar character, which is really, really like nice. I love this sleek LED lights at the back of this BMW. I love the way BMW have integrated this LED lights into the trunk cover of this iX. You have your iX badge in here, which is actually nice. And then I love this, design character here. It's sort of like a diffuser. It really goes well with the back of this BMW iX. Here is the BMW logo, and of course, you have your reversing camera here. It also has that self-washing system like the front, where you go into the infotainment system and you press a button, and then the back of the BMW camera can actually wash itself when it gets dirty. Let's see how big the trunk of this BMW is. You have an electric popper behind here. And now, one thing you can notice about this BMW is the whole brake light actually opens up with the boot lid of this BMW. And so BMW have actually made another set of brake lights, which are these two brake lights here. So this is for regulation purposes, of course, because the brake lights are on this movable piece here. And when you have this up, people are not going to see you in the night. This serves as a secondary brake light. Before talking about the boot space, there's something I need to mention about this BMW. You'll notice some design patterns going on in this BMW. So this design pattern is carried out throughout the whole BMW. The frame of this BMW is actually made with carbon fiber composite, something called CFR. BMW does this to keep the weight of this SUV down. The boot of this BMW is not particularly large at all. You just have 500 liters of space, which is not all that much for a car of this size. That is because BMW prioritizes interior space than boot space. I mean, people who would buy this car would not really care about how much boot space is in back of this BMW. And then you have a nice parcel shelf here, which is really, really posh. Now, one thing I love about this BMW is you can fold down the rear seats, but you can fold it down electrically by pushing on these electric buttons, and the seats fold down automatically to give you a flat, continuous boot floor. All right, this BMW iX is equipped with a 90 kilowatt hour battery capacity. There's the iX40, the iX50, and the iX60. And this iX40 is good for an electric range of about 420 kilometers. This iX40 is the dual motor version. Of course, all BMW iX are standardly equipped with dual motors for four-wheel drive. Now, the dual motors gives you 325 horsepower and about 625 newton meters of electric torque, and gives this car a 0 to 60 of about 5.8 seconds. I really love that you get a lot of driving range even with this huge size of this BMW. The only problem is the charging when you use a slower 11 kilowatt charger, but then if you install the faster charger, then you get better charging times. On the subject of getting inside the BMW iX, of course, you use the electric doors to open the BMW. There's no physical handle to actually open the BMW iX. It's an electronic release here, which you press. Now, BMW have thought about something here. If this electronic system fails or doesn't work, does it mean you are locked inside the car? No, BMW have thought about another way for you to open the door. So there's an emergency door release handle here, which is actually manual to open the BMW. From the back here, there's great sitting space. I mean, there's a lot of room. This is my driving position, and then I still have a lot of room, which is good. You have two USB Type-C charging ports here, and then you notice at the back of this seat, I love the design of the front seat, and then the armrests of the BMW have actually hidden the cup holders inside the armrest. Overall, the seats of this BMW are actually really soft. I love how huge and comfortable the seats are in the back of this BMW. You have nice material all over the interior of this BMW. Like, everything is just so nice in the back of this car. Unfortunately, the BMW I have here is not spec'd with the panoramic glass roof. Of course, you can spec your BMW with a panoramic glass roof. Then you have climate control for the backseat occupants, which is actually good. Everything is great, but then the main thing of this BMW is in front. So let's see what happens in the front of this BMW. While the exterior of this BMW might be polarizing, the interior of this BMW is just so gorgeous, especially in front of this BMW. Great job, BMW. The first thing you notice inside this BMW is this huge screen, which is kind of flowing because it has been mounted on some, some stands here, just like your home's TV. So before going into the screen, few things I would like to talk about. Now you have a huge center console here. I love the way BMW have designed it, and then you have some few controls. You have the gear selector situation here and your start button here. Now to put this BMW into drive is fairly easy. Push it front for reverse, you push it a little for neutral, and then back for drive. This system here is the latest BMW iDrive 8 system, and this system is just so good, easy to use, very fast and responsive. So I love the fact that BMW have still kept the rotary dial here, and then you still have some shortcut menus for the infotainment screen. You have your media, your telephone, your nav, you have home and the back button. And I love how quality this rotary dial is. Glassy effect on this rotary dial is just so nice. And then you have a physical volume control knob here, which is good. And then you have your park button and the buttons to control the driving modes of this car. Talking about space and practicality, there's huge space in the middle of this center console, which is good. And then you have another space here for your wireless charger, 2 USB Type-C, and a cup holder. I love the sleek design of the air vent. The seats are very nice and comfortable, perforated leather seats, and I love how integrated the headrest is in this BMW. Just so nice. Very, very thoughtful of BMW to put and make this interior very logical. And then you have the driver's information display here, which is like the best. Yes, it is on par with Tesla, MBUX, and Audi's virtual cockpit. And then you have the driver's monitoring system here. So this BMW have a monitoring system which it monitors your eyes to make sure that you are paying attention to the driving when you are using the automatic cruise control function of this BMW. The seat controls here on the door panel, that is just so good, having the seat controls up here. And then the driving position of this BMW is impeccable. The steering wheel is also electrically adjustable. Of course, it's a luxury car. You pay a lot of money for this car, and you can see how adjustable the steering wheel is. Now, talking about this infotainment screen, you can customize so many things in this screen. I love how responsive and sharp the screen is. Just so easy to navigate. Now, there's one problem with this screen is there are so many menus, especially when you go into the menu of this BMW. You're just overwhelmed by a lot of driver information systems. There are just so much. But then, it takes a lot of time, but then you can actually get used to using this menu because you can actually highlight each menu functions and drag it and drop it in any part of the infotainment screen you want. Of course, this BMW is equipped with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay wirelessly, so you can just hook up your Android phone or Apple phone to this BMW. Now, if you notice, there are no physical buttons to control the heating system of this BMW, but then you have two controls here at the bottom which you use to control the heating and cooling from the climate control system. It's also equipped with gesture control, so you can actually use gesture to control which menu you are by either flicking to the left or flicking to the right. If you want to control the audio controls of the BMW, you actually use your hands in this manner, and it can actually increase or reduce the volume. Something I usually do not mention when I review cars is the sound system. Now, the sound system of this car is equipped with the Harman Kardon system, but then the sound that plays in the BMW has been developed by Hans Zimmer. All he did was every sound that this BMW makes has been produced by the Hans Zimmer Orchestra. One function of the BMW that I like is, of course, it's parking cameras, which is good. You can actually switch to 3D mode and you can see the all-round view. Every iX you have, the color of the car inside the infotainment system is actually color matched to the car. So if you have a white BMW, you have a white BMW here, which is actually good. Now, this car also has parking assist. When you turn on the parking assist, the BMW can actually record 30 meters of parking, and then it will record it and save it, and then it will automatically park itself. That's a really dope feature to have. All right, let's get back to the driving of this BMW and see how sporty this BMW is.
Okay, I'm going to put the BMW into sport mode and see how fast it goes. And as I can notice, the steering becomes more sharper, the suspension becomes a little bit more agile, and it really carries its weight well around the bends. It gives it that BMW driving characteristics, which is good. The sports mode just firms up everything, firms up the suspension, makes the steering much more sharper. The brakes in the BMW are also very phenomenal. You know, it's nicely tuned to this BMW, and then the sound it makes while in sports mode is very nice because of that Hans Zimmer sound system. Take a listen to that sound. I like that sound, and yeah, When you put in sports mode, the full 625 Newton meters of electric torque comes in instantly. The accelerator pedal has been well calibrated to get sharp driving dynamics. I mean, take a listen to that sound again. Wow, this is exciting. Now, this is an exciting car to drive. The steering is sharp. Like, I'm not supposed to go around that bend with that speed, but the BMW went around that bend at that incredible speed. That is nice, having the sports mode on in this BMW. It makes everything much more tighter. The steering much more sharp. The accelerator, everything is nice. Take a listen to that sound again. It's like a set of orchestra playing. Yeah, that's a really nice sound. And wow, does this car flies. Like, the speed you can go at this BMW is really incredible. Like, going around bend at this speed, that is wonderful. That is so wonderful. That was fast in sports mode. We are going to put the BMW into another driving mode, which is efficient, which you basically use all the time. You can select that on the screen, and when you put that on, it changes, the theme of the infotainment system and the driver's information system, but then it doesn't have as much pronounced electric sound. It's just a quiet, efficient mode to be in. And then you can put it in expressive mode. Expressive mode also changes, the theme of the interior. I love this design here. I love this design, actually. And then it plays a nice sound in the background, if you can hear that. And then when you step on the accelerator, it's okay. Now this is an exciting sound. This is an exciting sound. It's wow, it's nice. Take a listen to that sound again when it's on expressive mode. Listen. The power this BMW makes, and the xDrive system, the torque. Of course, the BMW is actually engaging to drive. It gives you that enthusiastic driving feeling which you would want from the BMW, even in expressive mode. I love the way it just changes the dials into this nice theme. It's just so cool in every nature. So making a U-turn, yes, the turning circle of the BMW is not that great. Of course, it's a big car, so turning radius is, it's a bit on the larger side. But then, of course, you have your parking assistant camera, which makes parking the BMW very nice. And the last driving mode to test on the BMW is relaxed. So when you put it in relaxed, the sound changes, the theme also changes. It reduces the information on the driver information display, and it also has its peculiar sound it makes. I don't know how to express it, but the sound it's just so nice and sensational. Like, it's a really nice sensational sound even when you are in relaxed driving mode. Listen to that. Okay, the sound that has been integrated into this BMW is on point. The iX is just so wonderful. Everything it offers as an electric car. Okay, something I love about the interior of this BMW, it's apart from it's trying to create a nice ambience feeling, when you put on the heated seats or when you put on the heating controls of this BMW, it actually has some infrared radars that actually heat up some of the heating panels in the BMW. It heats up the armrest, it heats up the door panel. It gives it a really nice and comfortable driving feeling when you drive the BMW. That interior ambience is there. Everything just is on point in the BMW. The steering is sharp, everything is accurate. I love how BMW have calibrated the steering wheel. The driver's information display has vital information, it's clear. The heads-up display works great, which is really, really nice. I love the BMW, and the BMW is an electric luxury vehicle worth considering.
So, there we have it, the BMW iX, an absolutely phenomenal luxury electric SUV. As much as you would expect it, it's comfortable, superbly finished, and well, a bit ugly in front. But then, it drives amazingly well, and it packs a boatload of technology to make your iPhone feel outdated. I'm a big fan of the iX. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
you.